I have to admit that Ryan does a great job of that, not only on this podcast, but on his Creative Culture show.
This isn't a paid sponsorship. You know that, right?
No, yeah, no one's paying us to do this. We're
I'm just
paying
messing with you.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We're paying ourselves, man.
All right.
So
We're live.
we're live.
Live on Facebook.
Fantastic.
I mean, on YouTube. I'm going to post this
That's cool.
on
We're
Facebook.
live right now. Oh, that's fantastic.
Let's go to one of my favorite groups.
Just posting my usual. Yikes.
All right, hang on here.
We're live at WASA.
Is that it right there? Wasa Wasa?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to suppress it because it's a link,
Okay,
but
makes sense.
it's all good. All right, so let's chat, man. What do you think of the conference so far?
WASA has definitely surprised me in a couple of ways.
You were telling me, first of all,
Yo,
this is your first conference.
yeah, this is my first conference.
Okay.
For sure. First ever.
So a perspective from a first timer.
Yeah, I think WASA, well, it used to be Coda, right? So
I believe so.
Yeah, it used to be Coda. So rebranding, reimaginating, that's not even a word, but the reimagination of basically what this show is. It's a lot smaller, and yet you find there's a lot of faithful people that are just in this industry, just love seeing each other, love talking about, the garage door industry, what's new. I hear and see no hate. It's interesting. I've been to pretty much every booth, and everyone's been cool. It's never been like hate about, so-and-so,
Right.
hate about these guys, these guys. I mean, yeah, everyone's going to hype themselves up,
Right.
but that's normal, but no hate. I love that.
Yeah. And I think I did hear some people talking bad about you when you walked off, but as long as they don't do it to your face. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Santiago bought my lunch today, so I appreciate that.
That's the least I could do, my
Dude,
friend.
the quickest way to my heart is through my stomach, so that was great. And then we talked just a little bit about the conference, and ways to improve our online branding.
Yeah.
Talked about getting into doing shorts and ways that we can improve Torsion Talk, and so I thought that was cool.
Totally. If you're not into shorts, YouTube shorts right now, you're missing the boat. If you're not on TikTok, you're missing the boat. Long form content still has a place. I'm going to quote a lot of people, whether you guys know them or not. Alex Hormozy, he talks about utilizing short form content to get the width of who your business or your brand is, and your long form content is your depth. And I think the guy that's doing that right now is Ryan Lucia, for sure, because
You're so nice, dude.
No, I'm serious. Because what Ryan is doing, like, for example, Community Culture, there's shorter shows, but the Torsion Talk podcast, that's a longer show where you can get committed, listen while you're on the road. You appreciate what Ryan and Tamara are doing. So if you're not listening to that Torsion Talk podcast, you need to get on it, party people, because it's totally worth it.
I love how you always use party people.
Thanks. It's because our industry is boring.
It was so like I watched like one of your videos and you were like, I don't like let's get started. We're gonna change it up. Let's get started, party people. Or let's go, party people.
Let's party. Let's party.
Party people.
Yeah.
All right. So what is some takeaways that you've gotten? Have you sat? I know you sat in the LiftMaster. Have you sat in others too?
Yeah, well, I have to admit, the Paul McManus keynote that he did this morning, "What Are You Selling?" blew my mind.
It was good.
Yeah, because in essence, being the well, technically he's like the owner or
he's a vice president of sales of Haas,
right?
And he was just on the show like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly, and I love that show because he was very intuitive with regards to kind of what's happening in the industry. And anyways, and that question made me think of, okay, well, obviously what door you sell, what product you're selling.
Yeah.
And it was nothing like that. What he had highlighted was your brand, your story. Are you selling you? You are selling you.
Yeah.
And in an industry where we are pretty much driven by price sometimes, it's so sad to say, but you got these guys that are just driving, lowest price. He made it clear, I don't want to be the least expensive guy. I want to be the most expensive.
Right.
But at the same time, have this culture, this story, this brand that people want to be a part of. I thought that was genius.
So my big takeaway was he had mentioned something about how all employees should be on the same page with the story.
Right.
And you deliver it with excitement and enthusiasm.
Right.
And I just was thinking, like, when my guys go into a garage, are they that excited about our story? Do they even, I know they know the story, but like, how well do they know it? And so when we would hire people, and I used to do this a lot, I don't do it nearly as much anymore. I would spend like a half a day, like indoctrinating the employees, basically telling them about who I am, my family, introducing them to how the company got started, my background, how I run things, how I make decisions, what led me to get into the door industry, like the challenges that we had to overcome starting the company. Because when people come in your, multi-million-dollar company and they see everything and the big, nice warehouse and all the doors and the nice trucks, they don't think struggle.
No.
They're like, these guys made it.
Right.
So it's good for them to know, like, I even share financials with my staff because I feel like the transparency is really important. But that takeaway for me was, I'm now going to, you're next, bro.
You're next, buddy.
One of my takeaways.
Look handsome.
One of my takeaways is going to be to go back and make sure everybody knows our story, knows it well enough to repeat it to, in their own words, and does it with enthusiasm with our customers. And I feel like, when I had started the company, I told everybody I went in their garage, everybody, my story. I came from software. I started this. So, my family and I cashed out everything to start this business, and people loved it, bro.
That's awesome.
So that's what I want to get back to that. Right.
Yeah.
Because these larger companies lose that as they get older and bigger.
Yeah.
They already can't maneuver like small companies, but then if they lose their story as they get bigger, one company actually that does a good job with the story and the everybody from the top down is Genie.
Absolutely.
Genie does a phenomenal job. And I think that comes from the leadership. I tell Mike all the time, there's only a few companies that I've ever worked with where from top down, the communication seems to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
The motivation, everything's just streamlined.
Right. And it's, if we can go a little deeper into that, like, for example, with the structure and the family of Genie, everybody's willing to talk to you. They love sharing their story with you. They love sharing their story about their products with you.
Yeah.
They've made mistakes and they own up to it. They're willing to say, hey, we knew that such and such motor wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But look at us now.
Did I tell you the story?
No.
I didn't tell you the story of how I started carrying Genie. It's actually pretty funny. So Brian, my rep, he would come in and he would be like, hey, Ryan, I'd really like to sell you some motors. I'm like, bro, I don't like your product. Like, I'm a service guy at heart, right? That's how I got trained. That's how I learned.
Yeah.
And so I was seeing all these old, really loud, accelerators and, I'm just like, dude, I'm not a fan. Like, I just don't like them. That was my exposure. But because all of those were put in new construction, because it was cheap and that's what they had, that's what I dealt with a lot, right? And so I was swapping them out with LiftMasters all the time, and not just the cheap ones, but the high end ones. And so one day we were at IDA Expo, and Brian, my rep, walks up to me. He's like, "Oh, Ryan, come here." He's like, Mike, come here. So he's like,
Mike Rydell?
Yeah,
nice.
Mike, Ryan, Mike. And Mike goes, I heard you think my product sucks. And I'm like,
sounds like him.
What? I'm like, Brian. I'm like, well, sir, all due respect. I started backtracking a little bit because I was like, I don't want to be a dick. So I said, well, that's been my experience. And he's like, you're right. And I'm like, whoa, what? Like, total.
Yeah, you owned up to it.
Yeah. And he was like, look, Genie, us as a team, a company. We made a mistake. We outsourced to China. We cut a few corners and it didn't pay off. And when we brought all that back, we're doing better testing. We're using better product, and really went into it and asked me to give him a chance. If he sent me a couple motors, would we install them? How do you say no to that?
Can't.
You can't. Like, if you're a smart business person,
Yeah.
you take that opportunity and you try it, and then you make the decision on whether to buy it or not. So we installed them. Our guys liked them, and we ended up, now we just put an order in for, I think, 2 pallets of them last week, and we're
Nice.
buying them all the time. And so we've been really happy with the 6070, 6170, 3120, and the 4124. And that's what we carry, those 3. And we saw a lot of them. We're very happy.
And see, now listening to that story, you appreciate the partnership, the ability that Jeannie had to be able to, you know what, we're going to make this right. We're going to do something here. And they took the liberty of doing that. So it's now that story that you can literally share with your customers when they tell you, you know what, I've heard Jeannie's not great. Let me tell you a real quick story.
Right.
And when the president and your rep of Jeannie, is making that effort, I mean, that goes a long way. I do have to go back to Paul McManus real quick, because you and I we're like polar opposites. I'll explain why. We're mom and pop. We're very small. I don't have any employees. I use subs every now and then, but you have a big company. You do your thing, such and such media. You're like you say, you're crushing it. and I'm on the other end. And I think about I have a story too. It may not be Ryan's story.
Yeah.
But I have a story too. And it's important for me to not only develop that story, but appreciate it and have the customers appreciate it. And so similar circumstance, like with Jeannie, Jeannie, they reached out to me. They were kind. Scott Doyle, by the way, you got to get Scott on here. He's here right now.
Wait, who is he?
Scott Doyle. He's the Jeannie trainer specialist.
Let's get him.
Dude, he would love to be on this.
Let's do it.
He's charismatic.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so going back to
tell our man to see if he can find him.
Tony, call Scott. Call Scott. Scott should be on this.
Can you see if Scott can come on?
I was telling Scott, I was like, Scott, you need to get on his podcast. Anyway, so it's a joy to be able to share that story.
Yeah.
You just want to share that story. Who's on the feed right now?
Right now it doesn't look like anybody.
Anybody?
Nobody.
Oh, well, that's okay, I guess.
They're boring.
It'll go. You'll be able to upload it, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think we had a couple people, but they dropped off.
It's okay.
I'm assuming the audio is
is.
good on
There
here.
he is. Yeah. Look. Oh. All right, real quick. Just get on. Just get on. We got to hear from Scott.
How many minutes you got? 15's plenty, bro. All day.
What's up, Ryan?
How are you, man?
Man, living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
So where are you out of?
I'm out of Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got an event in Dallas coming up in December.
When? What part of December?
December 4th through the 7th.
Okay. What are
Yeah.
you doing out there?
So I run a group called Garage Door U.
Okay.
It's like a mastermind for garage door owners, the garage door company owners.
Okay.
And we do live events sometimes. And so we open it up to everybody.
Nice.
And in this particular situation, we were limited to 45 people because of the event space that we did.
All right.
And we got a couple speakers coming in, Joseph Roberts, Thomas Keenan, and my boy Jose teaching an Unbreakable program. And so it's going to be fun.
That sounds awesome. Where's it at?
Dallas at the Canvas Hotel.
Okay, it's a nice hotel.
It is
It's
nice.
very nice.
We there's a rooftop. We were doing a little rooftop party one night.
Okay.
It's going to be cool.
All right. Why don't you give me info so I can check that
Yeah,
out?
you should come.
Heck yeah, I want to be there.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
Monday. I think the 5th is a Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So you're welcome to come to the rooftop party that night.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Be there for it,
Very
anything,
cool.
Anything for this industry.
So what do you do for Jeannie?
I'm their national product trainer.
Okay.
So I travel the country. My area is the southern border of the United States to the Arctic Circle, both coasts. So I cover all of North America.
That's a lot.
It is.
I bet your phone blows up.
Oh man, I've circumnavigated the globe 2.5 times in miles since March. Man, I think I'm at 95,000 miles in the air this year already.
So you're supporting dealers or you're supporting Jeannie employees?
So I support the dealer. So
Okay.
I'm a marketing asset. I go out for the sales teams. I also do wear both hats for Wayne Dalton and Overhead Doors at the same time.
Wow.
We go as representing as our operator division throughout the entire country.
Very cool, dude.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was just telling my story about how Mike and I met Crydell,
Right.
and he kind of called me out for something I told my rep about how I didn't like your product. And then he told me the story and then offered like for me to install one and see what I thought. So I took him up on it, and now we install quite a bit of your product. So
what's your favorite product that you put in?
So I would have to say at this time, I'm not a trolley guy. So I like your 6170.
Okay. It's my favorite as well.
Yeah. It's a solid product. I like your we sell three models of yours: 6170, 3120 HB.
Okay.
Actually, I think we just stopped carrying the backup battery on that one, and then we sell the 4124 because we do like a lot of high end stuff.
Right.
So on the glass doors we try to almost always sell the side mounts, and then all the other doors that we let the customer choose.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's such a clean look on that full view. On the full view on the glass doors, that side mount. There's no that junk in the middle of the.
You don't have it
ceiling.
hanging down, the light and all that stuff. Like when you pull up, it's just clean.
Yeah, and it just looks like it's magically happening.
Yeah.
One of my favorite installs I've done with the side mount. I was in Southern Vegas. We put it on a 14-foot door with a 10-foot ceiling.
Saw that.
And the door that disappeared. I did that install on that wall mount.
Did
man,
you?
It's still my favorite install I've ever done. Like, I mean, that was by far. I was like, man, this is going to be.
That was the show that Brian, my rep Webster out of Atlanta, he introduced me to Mike Crydell at that show.
Okay.
And that's when that happened. That was 2020. So it was 2020.
Yeah, it might even been
March.
That. I think it was
right when COVID broke out. Yeah,
because I did that install in October of that year when they were building that house. The Sanwa, our holding company, floated all of that material and built that house, sent everything overseas to build that house that went into.
That's crazy.
It was such a wild. I mean, I've never been to a place where someone with a gun came out. Let me see your ID. I'm like, I don't know what to show you. I give you my business card, my ID. How do I know that? So it was one of those legit houses. What was it? 150-foot glass wall that looked downtown when you went upstairs. Did you go upstairs in that house?
Oh no, actually. So I only saw the door on the frame at IDA Expo.
Okay.
But I think that's the same one you're talking about, right? Yeah.
We ended up taking it, and so they brought the door in, and we came up, put our operator on there, and our operator wasn't even in production yet. Like we took pre-production models and put them on that house.
Nice.
And it just was one of those experiences where it's like, this is gonna take off. This is what people want in their house. And people come in and the door just disappears into the ceiling. You know, they even built a 2x2 crawl through so you could crawl and you actually work on the springs. And I looked at the door guys. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're not gonna like working on this door.
You're gonna need a Surewinder for sure.
At least.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Chris at Surewinder.
That's such a good product.
Yeah.
Surewinder. Oh,
it's great. We have them for all of our guys.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So where are you out of? You said Dallas.
Dallas. So I'm at large. That's my offices. I see it probably 8 days a month.
Okay. So you're a road warrior.
Always. Yeah.
And so are you traveling around seeing dealers too?
Mm-hmm. So I bring our training to your location.
Bro, I'm about to hit you up, dude.
Hit me up. Let's go. We'll get Brian out there. We'll have a good time. We'll get some training. We'll
do
go
it.
To dinner.
I have a whole training center. We built this like huge garage in our warehouse.
Heck yeah.
Got like 13, 14 foot ceilings.
Okay.
So we practice installing high lift,
nice.
Rear torsion, trolley motor, side mount. Side mounts are a little tight. We miscalculated. Well, the guy that installed it, I think, miscalculated slightly, not by much, but and so it's a little tight.
Yeah.
But the Genies fit really well. The Lift Masters are a little tough.
Yeah, little touch, little squeeze in there.
It's like those homes where you gotta take the tube off to get the side mount on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that. So, well, dude, thanks for coming on the show.
Man,
I need to get your contact information because
card,
I would love to have you come out and work with my guys. We're always working on like continued education. Do you come to Atlanta often?
I'm going to be in Atlanta. I think in like 4 weeks. I'm going out. I'm actually being out with Brian to see somebody, so I can extend that trip if you want. If not, we can reschedule another time.
If you're not maxed out, I'd love to do that
for sure.
Now we have a commercial department and a resi department. My commercial guys do not sell Genie.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a little bit of an uphill battle, but I would love for you to spend some time with my resi guys.
perfect. I can do that. Also, we created a Genie commercial line simulator for it's basically like a game, almost like an installer game where we can do troubleshooting, we do programming, all that stuff. Like, so your guys that don't understand our product, we can let them almost have a full operator in front of them, but only have a tablet. I bring the tablets, bring them to you and work on your schedule. Heck yeah, let's do it.
All
right, my friend.
Thanks so much for coming on the show,
sir.
bro.
Yes, sir, man. Keep the show up, bro.
I'm working on it, man. Thank you. I'm working on it. We gotta get some more people on here. Who else we got? I don't care. Let's snatch them up. Where's Alex?
All right, you do your thing. You have some stickers, Ron?
Yes. Help yourself, bro.
That was too much fun.
Yeah. You can tell he's a smart guy.
Oh, Scott, you kidding? Man, he's amazing.
And that'll be fun to have him come train our guys. I'm pretty excited about that, dude. He's already coming to Atlanta in 3 weeks. That makes it easy.
And I believe that the training is always going to be important, because as much as you touch these motors, as you deal with these motors, you still need refreshers on them. You still need to like remember, like, oh yeah, I forgot it could do this, or I forgot, we can work around this. I mean, especially if you're just not installing one particular product all the time.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I appreciate about being at the WASA show. You're able to get connected to a number of people, and I like the fact, I talked to the Brace, the Marantec guy, and he has a lot of passion about the Marantec motor. And I'll be honest with you, I don't install Marantec.
I've installed a few,
but I want to.
Yeah,
I want to. Hey, where was Sommer?
Summer's not here.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him.
What happened?
I don't know. I think he decided not to come to this one. But you got Genie, Liftmaster.
Even Guardian's here.
Guardian's here.
Yeah.
I think they're local.
Oh, they are? They're not over in your neck of the woods?
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, we do have Guardian product being installed every once in a while, but I think they're based on the West Coast.
Interesting. Yeah, I think
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you got
you know who's also
who?
Linear.
Yes. Lanier's here.
Lanier's not here.
Yeah, they are.
Are they are?
I thought they were on his back wall over here.
Well, I didn't see him.
Oh. I think they are. You got Ranch House Doors.
Ranch House is here.
Carriage House.
Mm-hmm.
Elegant, who I wasn't really familiar with. They're mainly West Coast, but they looks like they specialize in like just high-end doors.
Yeah, they're in my backyard.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I looked at some of their stuff. They've got a competing product that we install in Atlanta for the CHI Sterling, which is the frameless glass door. And so I thought that was cool.
Nice.
They got like a glass sliding gate.
What?
That I took a photo of. Yeah, their booth's like right here on the inside of this wall. But lots of, I would say probably 50 vendors, somewhere around there.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, the expo floor's full of all the booths look like they're sold out.
Yeah.
So good show.
Smiles. Everyone's cool.
Yeah.
No hate. It's all like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a party.
Sessions seem to be good content.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, being on the West Coast, like, and this is WASA is more of like an access systems thing. So I was not expecting the large amount of access control gate stuff, just being a door guy specifically. But it's nice to see, because when you see that stuff and you learn about it and you ask questions, it just expands your mind, and you're like, should I get into this? Yeah, like I said earlier, when you and I were talking, there's so many opportunities available.
Look at that. Is there a link?
Look, my boy, there is a link.
There is a link.
I don't know how to get it to you, though.
It should be.
Tell them it's on the such and such media YouTube channel.
We need to get Tony on the podcast.
I can post it on the Torsion Talk podcast Facebook page, too.
There you go. There you
My
go.
boy Santiago is like, you haven't done that yet?
No,
He's so buttoned up and organized, and I'm just like,
no,
whatever.
No, this is great. We have the ability to be able to just like right on the fly to be able to, talk, and I got to get going though.
Are you supposed to be leaving?
I'm supposed to be leaving. I was supposed to leave like 40 minutes ago.
Were you really?
Yeah, totally.
Damn.
But I needed to do this because I have to just show my love and appreciation for you being out here and everyone here at the WASA show. I didn't know that Alex, the Liftmaster rep, she's the president.
Yes,
But apparently there's going to be a new president next year.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so she was saying, but she's cool people.
Yeah, she is.
She's super cool.
She put this thing together
Amazingly.
She's a hustler, dude.
Yeah.
Just in my experience of working with her.
Yeah.
So
does she go out over there sometimes?
No, I don't know what she does for them, honestly.
I know she's like the West Coast rep, and she's done a lot of trainings and stuff like that. Surprisingly, you see a lot of familiar faces. Some have traveled, to different companies. Some have stayed. Like I remember Scott. Scott used to be with Liftmaster, but now he's with Control Products. Those guys are great. There's Control Products in Georgia? I think so. I know they're in Texas.
Yes, there is a location in yes. There is a location in Georgia, in Atlanta, right outside of Atlanta.
Cool.
Yep. I'm trying to get this see here. I think I posted the wrong leak earlier.
It's all good. It's all good. There we are. There we are. There we are. Good stuff. Good stuff. So far the show is still going, probably up to like 5 o'clock, right? I think because then at 5:30 they're gonna have that dinner, and then they're gonna do a bowling thing, which is really cool. Unfortunately I'm not gonna be there, but I know you guys are gonna have a great time, have fun, you know, get out there and do your thing. Are you a bowler? I'm not a bowler,
dude. I suck at bowling so bad. It's
really
embarrassing. And it's frustrating because I'm such an athlete.
Yeah.
And so when I suck at like a sport, I get really frustrated.
Yeah.
So I just tell people that I can't throw underhand anything. So
there we are.
That's my biggest frustration.
So they're seeing the whole live feed, right?
Yeah, I think we're good now. Well, we were live. We've been live on YouTube, but I've been trying to get us on Facebook, and I think I posted the wrong link
that's all good.
earlier. But yeah,
it's all
perfection
good.
Sucks, dude.
My friend, we're having fun at this. We're having fun.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, listen. Before you leave, you got to find someone to replace you.
Totally. Where's Tony? Yeah. We should get Alex on here. Yeah, someone wants to get on here.
We got to pull some people on, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Involuntarily.
You guys want to talk?
We're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah. Alex. Is Paul here? Paul pretty much left, huh?
Paul McManus? I don't know. He's like a superstar. He probably flew in on his private jet and then took off after he spoke.
He probably did.
You know who we need is Brenton.
Brenton, there you go. Yeah. Brenton was over here.
Come join the podcast, bro.
What podcast? Right now? Are you doing something right now? That's funny.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, bro.
My friend, it is an honor.
Yeah, for real. My honor.
No, mine.
No, mine.
Okay, both of us. Party people, Dennis, check this guy out. Just listen to the show.
People.
For sure. I mean, it's just so much fun. The ability that you're able to do this. I just, wish you the best. Please be safe going home.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm on a flight, so.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no control.
Give our hellos to your family. Take care of them. And if there's anything we do for you guys, let us know, okay?
Heck yeah, bro. Appreciate it.
All right. Y'all stay safe.
So he lives right around the corner, almost.
Almost.
So he's driving home, and I'm going to try to get some more people on the podcast. Let you guys meet some crazy people over here at WASA. These people in Cali are nuts, right? Let's see. Who do we got? I may have to stand up and walk in there and grab some people.
Take care, my friend.
Give me just a minute. Let me go get some folks. All right, folks, we are live. And guess what? We're going to wing it. It's a beautiful thing. All right. You gonna put the headset on so you can hear? That's so much better, isn't it? All right. You got it on right. Okay. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Nathan, Pro Garage Doors in Redding, California.
Redding is north. So like when most people say north, they think
Sacramento, maybe.
Bay Area, Sacramento.
Yeah, we're like 3 hours north of there.
So he's north in the cold.
No, it's actually really hot.
Is it really?
It's like 115 in the summer.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not like humid hot. It's
No,
like
it's a dry heat.
it's a dry
fine.
heat. So
Yeah.
it feels like 90.
Like 75.
75?
No,
Jeez, that would be awesome. I mean, moving to Redding. But like I saw the temperature out here before I came, and it was like 75 to 105 was the range from like morning until like the hottest part of the day.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So Georgia's like doing we're pushing like 75, 80. And so yeah. All right, Pro Garage Doors. How long you been in business?
2018, so about 4 years.
Okay. Dude, the struggle is real, bro.
Yeah.
You're in that range. How's things going?
Good. We're cranking it out. We've got 4 trucks on the road.
Nice.
And things are going well.
So 4 trucks in 4 years, all resi or resi and commercial?
Like 85% resi,
Okay.
5% commercial, 10% gates.
Dude, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but
is Redding a really highly populated area?
no, Redding itself has about 100,000 people. We've kind of expanded into the Chico market, which is another 100,000 people.
Is there a prison there?
I'm sure there
Like
is.
a popular prison?
No,
No? Okay.
I think so.
Anyway, so that's how I recognize landmarks. I was locked up there. No, I'm just kidding. So 4 trucks, 4 years. Are all those guys do service installs? Are they broken up?
Yeah, all our guys are service and install. Eventually, hopefully in the next couple techs, we're going to start breaking that out.
Okay.
I can definitely see the value of having strictly strictly install versus strictly service.
Yeah.
But right now, it seems to work best to have a combo.
Yeah. So I've always found like in my market, people are either really good at install or really good at repair, but usually never both.
Yeah, I could tell you right now which guys I have that are good at one,
Really
good at the other.
So I think people who come from manufacturing are really good at install because they're used to having a system in place.
Makes sense.
And it's step by step because that's what an install is. But you got to be able to like outside of manufacturing is very systematic, which is good because you want your guys to learn a system and repeat it over and over. But with garage doors, there's a certain part of like being able to diagnose things that might be different than the last garage. So there's some challenges for those people as long as they can like identify those and be able to fix them and not be like so retentive about every garage needs to be the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, then I think you can find a good one. We got one out of, I think Kubota and
installer.
Yeah. And so we trained him up and he's learned and he's doing really well.
Nice.
So we've been very happy with that.
I like it.
So 4 trucks, 4 years. I feel like that's a lot. So
yeah,
you guys have experienced quite a bit of growth.
Yeah, we're trying to throw a new truck on the road every year.
Are you in the road?
I'm not.
No. So you're strictly office.
No, I kind of have a funny backstory. I used to have a door company in Colorado for 7 years, and I ran it, and it was mostly just me in a truck, and I had 2 other guys in trucks. But I was in the field all the time, answering phones all day long, every day, trying to do jobs at the same time. And then I moved here, sold that business, and I had a major surgery, and I was basically stuck for 6 months on a chair, and realized like I don't want to be in this position where I can't make money if something happens to me. If something happens to your arm or something, you just can't wind springs or whatever. So I built this company in a way that like I shouldn't be in the field.
Right.
So
I got you. So congratulations to that, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah.
And how was the experience of selling your company? A lot of people have a lot of questions around that.
Yeah, so it was interesting because it's a small company. I think this is pre-COVID, but our best year was like 280,000.
Okay.
So
Did you make out okay on it?
we sold it for, I guess this is public knowledge, but we sold it for $50,000.
Okay.
And they paid it out over a couple years, and it worked out pretty well. It was hard for me because I like 5-star reviews and just really taking care of customers, and
Yeah.
I sold it, and personally, I don't think they took care of it like I would have, but you kind of have to let it go.
It's not your problem
Right.
anymore.
Right. You just have to let it go. And it helps
Yeah.
when I move to a different state because you're not like in the middle
Yeah.
of the city where people are calling you on your personal cell.
Yeah. Like, bro, I just hired your company and they just did this.
Right.
And you're like, damn it, bro.
Yeah. But it was nice to start over and start with something fresh with experience. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing it different this time, and it's really going well.
What is one thing that you're doing different now that made the biggest impact that you didn't do in the last time you started a business?
I would say just having the mindset of not being in the field. Like if I'm on the phones, I have an office person scheduling and dispatching, and she won't schedule me for the field. But if I'm on the phones, I'm like, oh, I'll just swing by. And then I'm like, nope, I got to catch myself. And if you just have that mindset of I'm not going in the field, I don't care what the emergency is, it really helped set the stage for like, okay, like we have this crazy situation and none of my guys can do it. Like we need to hire a more skilled person or however, like with that mindset, you do things differently.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm do the same. I still catch myself doing that too.
I just did it on Friday because my office girl's out, and I was like, oh, why did I schedule myself?
Yeah. And it's like worse when it's friends because
Mhm.
they'll text me and I'll just be like, well, I'll just
stop by. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like 4 days later, they're like, hey, bro, you coming? I'm like, dang it,
I
man. I forgot. And it's like, and then I'll call the office. Will you put me on the schedule? And I don't go off of Service Titan schedule because I'm never even in it other than looking at reports and stuff. So then I'll miss the appointment. And my friend's like, dude, just send one of your guys. Like, forget it. Like, I'm over you.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it's been a challenge. But I think that's a good mindset because you're forcing yourself to work on the business instead of in it.
Yeah.
So for guys who are like in the field and they find themselves booking themselves all the time like that, can you tell them the benefits to you being in the office and working on the business? And what are some of the things that you do that really help?
Well, we can really, or I can really focus on strategizing ways to fix our headaches. Like you'll have a certain situation where you're like, oh my gosh, that was a pain, but maybe it was just a one-off job, but really it's not going to be, right? You're going to get that situation again someday, or you're going to have unique situations you can't handle. So where was I going with that?
So working on your business.
Yeah.
So situations.
Yeah, you can step back since you're not in the field thinking about how to fix that one problem. You're kind of zoomed out at like a high level overview, and it helps you say, okay, so I'm seeing a consistent theme of whatever the problem is, and what is a solution to this problem? And you can actually start doing research, and you can start finding solutions to that and implementing different strategies or building out structure and procedures. So like we'll have a issue where it's like, oh my gosh, we don't have 2 of the truck keys and nobody knows where they are. So like now we have a procedure where you have to check out the truck key. And so like being able to build things like that so that you can grow and still keep things consistent.
It's little things, but they add up.
Oh yeah.
And when you have procedures for stuff, then you start to see the problems reduce.
Mm-hmm.
And, I talk to business owners sometimes. They're like, oh, my guys screw everything up. And I'm always putting out fires and, this and that.
Yeah.
And their phone's going crazy. And I'm just like, I want to be like, dude, I think you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to I don't know everything. But if that's your life every day and you run a business, then you need to work on your systems and processes and training because it shouldn't be that way. And you should be like a layer removed from all the problems anyway. Like, the guy should be enabled to handle certain stuff in the field and know what to escalate to the lady booking your calls And then she needs to know, obviously, when to escalate stuff to you. And if you've got that in place, life's a lot easier.
Yeah. And you can actually use your team to build those things. You don't have to build every procedure yourself, which has been really like a weight off for me, because I'm like, oh, I got to build all these procedures. And no, I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, we have a 1 hour meeting every Friday on a procedure. Like, let's write out a page. Let's just brainstorm it real quick.
That's great.
And implement it. So we're trying. We actually have an hour and a half, I think, scheduled every Friday that me and one person will sit down and build a procedure for something. And then anytime we have an issue, we throw it into our procedure list. Like, what do we need a procedure on? So,
I love it, bro.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
That's exciting. You're part of GDU.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to connect with other companies and see how they're doing things, and they maybe open up a little bit more versus if you were just,
In a
randomly
Facebook group or
stopping
whatever.
into their shop and they don't know you, or Facebook group where it's just a public forum. They're not, they don't know who you are. And
Yeah.
so it's a really good way to kind of build a closer friendship with other companies and see how they're doing things. So yeah. It's been really
Have
helpful.
you registered for GDU Summit yet?
No, my wife's we're having a baby, and so I'm not gonna make
Priorities,
it.
bro. Listen, if you are having a baby or you could go to an event with your boys, which one would you do?
I mean,
Event with your boys, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
You're playing it right. Well played. Well played. Yeah, we'll excuse you from that. I think Tamara told me that anyway.
I mean, I want to
So-
come race cars, but
Yeah, for real.
I'll be
It's
in for
gonna
the
be
next one.
I've never driven a Lamborghini, Ferrari, or a GT3.
those are all going to be there.
I think,
All right,
I think those are the three cars. And it's going to be tough because I want to drive they've got a Mustang GT500.
Okay.
And that's going to be hard not to drive, but I feel like I got a better chance of driving that one later than the other three. And one of the cars that I want to buy for myself eventually is a GT4.
Okay.
So
It'll be fun.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
The Porsche GT4 is just sexy. I have
good
wanted a Porsche ever since watching the first Bad Boys for the very first time. Right?
Yep.
That show was badass. So, how do you like the show, dude? What's it been like for you?
It's good. I mean, it's just like a mini IDA show, expo. I brought a couple of my guys that one of them hasn't been to a show before, and he's enjoying it. And yeah, we've connected. We're actually connected with a lot of people that we, for some reason, never connected with IDA. So a little bit smaller atmosphere kind of helps you really dial in who you're talking to. And
There's enough time for everybody to
Mhm.
communicate with each other, which is nice.
yeah, for sure.
And I feel like a lot of the people that I've met here are all pretty local to Southern California for the most part.
Yeah.
I know you're not, but they are.
Well, we've actually learned in this show that we're in the middle of nowhere and we're 2.5 hours from the closest distributor. So getting product is always our problem. And we've actually found out that there's a door company that delivers to our area that we never even heard delivered before.
Dang.
So yeah, so good connections like that.
That's a win, bro.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Well, congratulations for that. Hopefully that works out for you.
Yeah.
Have you sat in on any of the sessions?
Yeah.
Which one did you like the best?
Byron from Besser.
I missed that.
Man, it was good.
Santiago and I went to lunch, dude, and I wish I would have caught it.
Yeah.
Can you give me some highlights?
Yeah, he talked a lot about, it was just a big overview of your financials, and it was so cleanly presented that it just helped you say, oh yeah, yep, that's what we need to be shooting for. Just with margins and markups and taking your product and your pricing and how much you're paying your tax.
Dude,
and,
I'm gonna message him right
it was
now
good.
and tell him to get his butt over here so he can share.
Oh yeah, he definitely needs to be on here.
Let's see here.
Yeah, he was talking about how if your product cost goes up 100%, like let's say your door cost used to be $1,000 and you charge $2,000 to install it. Now your door cost is $2,000. You're not charging $3,000 to install it. You're charging $4,000, right? And so with that mentality, you're able to pay your guys just so much more, and they're so much more productive because of that. So
That's good.
yeah.
So I just messaged him. He was active 46 minutes ago. I love how they give you the information. So I'm going to be watching to make sure when I see this is like red,
Shows his face.
and if he doesn't reply, I'm going to be like, bro.
I saw you saw my.
I saw you saw me. Yeah. I saw the bubbles too. You were going to say I'm coming, but then you changed your mind. So that's interesting, dude. I'm fascinated with numbers and reports, and I'm doing all kinds of like digging in right now and really trying to like, for a business owner, when things get to the point where it's like you really have a hard time slowing the spending, you really got to get into the details of everything and learn everything. And all the like Megan like says, if it doesn't make you money, cut it. You know, if it's not making you better or more efficient, or making you money, do away with it. And she really challenged. I'm in a group that she's teaching right now, and she's really challenging us to identify, like, print out all of our statements, credit cards, bank statements, everything, line by line. What is this? What does it do for the company?
Ooh,
You know,
really getting
and then
in
if
there.
it's not like, you know, legit, cut it.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
she's like,
that's
you
hard.
should do that every 6 months
Yeah.
as a purge, because as businesses, we tend to just sign up for stuff and then forget. And then you got so many transactions every month that it just gets lost in the shuffle. But a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there add up to thousands at the end of the year, and can make an impact.
I like that she said too, just to take the pressure off, was like, you can always add it back. Like, if you
exactly.
change your mind a week later and you're like, actually,
Are you
like
doing
that.
her accounting course?
No, I almost signed up for it, but we've been slammed lately. So
you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And a baby's coming.
Baby coming.
And your wife just wrote a book.
She just
Tell us about that.
It's called Redeeming Food. She just got it. It's on Amazon. Her name's Laura Woodard. And it's all about redeeming food, right? So our culture is kind of a culture of food can be a bad thing, or it's all about a different whatever the next big trend is. And this is about it's
as far as diets
Christian,
and stuff, right? Yeah.
And it's a Christian book, so if you're not into that sort of thing, but it's about kind of like what God's view on food is, and what food was made for, about celebration and about enjoyment, about just connecting with people. So it's really
so
good.
interesting, because I'm on this journey like as we speak, right? Now I probably need to get your wife's book. But so I watched Game Changers on Netflix. Have you seen that? So Game Changers is a documentary about food.
Okay.
And they're trying to break down the idea of meat and if it's really good for us or not.
Okay.
And so now, first of all, I'm a carnivore at heart. Like, my breakfasts usually consist of like 4 or 5 pieces of bacon, like 4 eggs. You know, I'm pigging out, dude.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm trying to really figure out why I'm lethargic at 2:00, why my stomach hurts at night. And so I start doing research, and then my wife sees this documentary called Game Changers on Netflix, and I start watching it. And a lot of the stuff makes sense. And there might be like, you know, some political agenda behind it a little bit, but I don't care. I'm trying to expand my knowledge and see opportunities, and I want to see everything and make a good decision. And so they talk a lot about the environment and stuff like that, but the parts where they talk about food is very interesting to me. They said that, like, couple things, right? Like, our teeth are one of the few teeth like this that eat meat.
Okay.
Most animals or anything else on the earth that eat meat have sharp,
makes sense,
teeth, right?
Yeah.
So they just go into all these things about how our body's not really built to break down a lot of the meat that we eat, the quantities that we eat. And so and how, like, forever ago, like, they're even like going against the grain by just saying, you know, hey, listen, if you eat vegetable only diet, you can't have stamina, you can't lift tons of weight. So they went out and they found all these people who are like breaking records with bodybuilding, and they're vegan diets.
Interesting.
And I'm like, that's so weird. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but they're getting protein, and they talk a little bit about how they get the protein and all that stuff. So I'm just on this whole trip right now, and thought it would be interesting.
Yeah, everyone's kind of on their own journey, and I think that, I mean, one of her big things is combining freedom with wisdom. So, you know, you got to do your journey and your research. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. So, but yeah, having wisdom with what you eat, but also having freedom and not being controlled by your food or looking
That's
at food as
good.
the bad thing. So
That's good.
Yeah.
So there's a book called Wheat Belly. Have you
Okay.
ever heard of that?
I have.
Yeah. So I read that, I don't know, a long time ago. And it's about a like neurosurgeon who goes off on this journey to figure out about gut health. 'Cause I think he found some type of correlation. He wanted to see what that was all about. And he discovered leaky gut
Yeah.
and how that affects your body and your brain.
Hmm.
And leaky gut essentially is small tears in the intestinal tract that that not much damage is done, but when you eat meat, the proteins in the meat leak into your bloodstream,
Hmm.
and that's not good.
Understandable.
That's what causes like you to be really tired, lethargic. So if you go and you eat a big, steak dinner or whatever, and I'm not saying everybody who feels lethargic after eating a big steak has this, but apparently there's a large amount of Americans that have leaky gut.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, she does a lot of that stuff.
Does she?
I don't know a lot about it.
So I'm right now not eating meat to just
Oh,
test
interesting.
and
See how it goes.
But
You feeling good, or
dude, I feel great,
interesting?
bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel great.
Well, after 4 pieces of bacon, maybe cut back to 1.
I might have been a little extreme, who knows? But yeah, there he is.
Oh, let's get him over here.
You're up, Nathan.
It's Byron's
Thank
coming
you,
up.
bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
I'll
Thank you
pass
for
it
coming
off
on
to
the show.
genius.
Dude, I missed your show. I missed your speaking, and I felt horrible.
You're live, Byron. Here you go. This,
But-
my friends, is Byron.
Nathan just told me that you had the best. You gave the best presentation out of everyone, and I'm so jealous. And I wanted to get you on the show and have you talk to our guest about what you talked about because it sounds very interesting.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay, where would you like me to begin?
Wherever you
Well-
think is most valuable.
Okay, so pretty much we spoke about the post-COVID era as opposed to the pre-COVID era, and spoke about just the different opportunities for installing dealers as opposed to what's happening in the market. Biggest lessons we spoke about was watching your gross margins or gross profits as opposed to margin. We spoke about items like capitalizing on price increases, the importance of price increases, the importance of passing on price increases. So one of the lessons I shared, and I'd like to share with everybody else, is if a door cost us hypothetically $1,000 pre-COVID and it went up to $2,000 post-COVID, don't just, if you were selling the door for $1,000, sell it for $2,000. Take the $2,000 and sell it for $4,000. At the same time, what we were able to do, we were able to take our labor cost and we were able to give our labor people another 20% increase on top of what they were getting. The end result was pretty remarkable. So we were taking our gross profit jumped by about 130%,
Wow.
just purely because of the utilizing the pricing.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that garage doors were so cheap, it almost didn't make sense to go out and do like a single 8x7 with no operator, because even though you're making a 50% margin or whatever you're making on it, it's still not worth it because of all the effort that goes into it. So it makes me happy that the prices have gone up because it gives us an opportunity to set margin selling and still make a profit.
So I agree with you. So one of the problems, there's two problems I see in sales. One of the problems is people are too scared to ask for the sale.
Yeah.
And the other problem is people don't understand when to say no. So right now, I think one of our biggest challenges, and has been for many years, is the labor shortage that we have.
Mhm.
And it continues to get tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
So my argument is, if I'm going to pay you to go out and install a 16x7 pan door, or go out and install a 16x7 full view door with motor, it's going to cost me the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So why am I going to waste my labor working on an
Right.
8x7 pan door? So I think everybody's got to learn to work a little bit smarter,
Yeah.
as opposed to a little bit harder.
Yeah.
They got to pick their battles. They got to identify their markets. They got to understand, do you just want to be just a door seller and just take on everything that you can, or
Yeah.
do you want to make money. And at the end of the day, it's about making money.
Such a good point. And I know I've mentioned on the podcast before, but one of the things that we made the decision to do back in 2019 was to switch over and try to attempt to do less jobs for more money. And this was pre-COVID. So in 2020, we were able to do approximately half the jobs for twice as much money. And we've been able to continue that growth pattern, not more separation, but not scaling up the amount of jobs that we're doing drastically, resulting in not having to hire up a bunch of people and then making more money off of that. So taking our average door sale from 2,000 to 9,000 has been game changing for us because we still have the same staff. We haven't had to hire, but we found a way to increase our revenue and our profit off of what we currently have.
And that's the right way to do it. And it eliminates a lot of problems. To put in the same amount of doors, you would have had to put in 4 doors to 1.
Yep.
You'd need 2 crews instead of 1.
Yep.
You would need double the warehouse space, double the everything. You got a lot of damage, obviously, because now you've got 4 doors sitting on the floor versus 1 door sitting on the floor. For me, it makes a lot of sense to go that route. We haven't seen an average sale go from 2,000 to 9,000, but we have seen an average sale going up from 2,000 to 4,000 or $5,000. It's creating value for the homeowner too, creating value for the customer, explaining to them the difference, bothering to separate why you have these different packages available and what they are. And inevitably, they're going to go for a middle of the road or maybe a higher end. They're not going to take the
what those
cheapest.
packages are designed for anyway.
But it's only right. I mean, you go to a steakhouse for dinner tonight. They say, would you like mushrooms with it? Would you like the sauce? Would you like this? It's no different to doing that. But without knowing about it, it's
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. The biggest message we had is one of the examples we used today at the speech was a recent event in the industry was obviously the CHI and Ucore sale. And when one starts digging a little bit deeper into it, the big emphasis was on the employees and how they took care of the employees and how the employees benefited. And that was a great selling point for the public. But if you look a little bit deeper into it, it starts going into the financials. Obviously, Ucore wasn't going to buy a company just to pay out employees. They were going to buy it based on return. And I quoted an article, I think it was from the Business Wire that was published, where they posted an EBITDA of 30+%.
Jeez.
And that's what it was based out of. And my thought process is, how is that manufacturer, and I'm taking nothing away from them, I think that's awesome. But if they're entitled to make a 30%, or not entitled, if they've found a way to get a 30% EBITDA, we should be doing the same. We shouldn't be, there's no reason that we shouldn't mark up our product and do it the right way.
And do you agree that the challenge for marking it up that much is that we always have most of the other companies in our market pulling it down?
I do, but I think some of it, and I hate to say this because it's a little bit controversial, but I think some of it is manufacturer driven. You're sitting with manufacturers that have distribution centers. So they're producing product, and now they've got to move the product. So they take their product and they put it into their DCs, and now the product's costing them money, and they got to get rid of it. So they're not as, I'm not sure the right wording, but they're
not selective.
No, they're not as selective as they should be.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did too is we started going with manufacturers that weren't represented in our local market as much, that weren't as freely available. I think the bottom line, the end of the day, is a door's a door's a door. It all becomes reputation. It all becomes you. People buy people. They don't necessarily buy products. So we found a door that nobody else
Simon
could
Sinek.
get. We found a door that nobody could get their hands on. And there was no comparison. So although we sold the value of it, if they try to price shop us and say, hey, can we have XYZ, nobody could give it to them. So that gives you a competitive edge as well.
What product were you selling the most to be able to do that? Just out of curiosity, if you're okay sharing.
Well, right now we manufacture our own wood doors, so that's become a very big line for us.
When did you start that?
We started about 7-8 years ago, but the last 2 years during COVID, it really ramped up. We were running in situations where people needed garage doors. They couldn't wait 30, 32, 36 weeks, depending on what they were. And we have the ability to turn around within 2 weeks. So that gave us a competitive edge. It costs more money, but if you've driven through your garage or you've got a problem, you would do it. So that helped us tremendously. One of the products that we've really stuck behind as well, we obviously use AMAR, but AMAR still has quite a lot of a lot of distribution in our area.
Yeah.
But we became a big supporter of Raynor. Raynor was a nice supporter for us because we have a lot more protection in the area, so we were able to take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, Raynor's great. So I'm very curious, and I'll probably want to ask you more questions offline, but we're actually investigating doing our own wood doors in-house as well, because we're selling more and more of those. Currently have a great partner. We use Ranch House. They've done us very well. We've had a good relationship with them, but we have competitors in the area who are building their own doors, and we can't compete with the price and the turnaround time and everything else. What if someone's interested in starting doing their own doors? Education, tools, total investment up front, what would you say would be a good number to start with to do it right?
I think that's going to vary on the type of doors that you're going to do. So a lot of people are going to start off on a basic door. So they're not going to need shapers or planers or anything like that. So there's a way to do it inexpensively and there's a way to do it expensively. To start out, I would start the inexpensive route. I would start off with a basic way. So one of the things we do is we buy all our lumber pre-milled. It costs a little bit more, but then we're not dealing with the space, we're not dealing with the machinery, we're not dealing with everything. So we build our own wood doors from scratch. We start with a stile and rail system. We obviously cut the stiles to fit, and then we obviously routed them to get the dovetail to go in. Once we do that, we're putting on the Luan plywood, we're putting the insulation on, and then we're facing the door. The facing material, as I said, is normally pre-done. It's not pre-cut in lengths, but it's pre-milled. So that becomes extremely profitable and least expensive for us. When it comes to starting to do custom arches and stuff like that, over the years, we've obviously made templates and we just routering templates and then using that. We still don't have a shaper or anything of that nature, and we don't need one. We don't have a CNC machine or anything like that. When it comes to those higher end real custom doors, we just rather pay somebody to do it if we need to. But the majority of our doors, probably well over 90%, are everything that we can handle. Going back to your point on costs, obviously the manufacturers are there to make a profit. That's how they pay their wage. So even if they were making a 40% margin, and I don't know what it is, could be 30, could be 40, could be 50, obviously bypassing that margin. You're making it yourself. So that's what's given us a competitive advantage. We've been able to obviously bypass that and then take it out into the market. What does it do for you if you were to do it? Not only will you make that 40%, but instead of making another 40, 50%, you could make 60, 70% and still be 20% more competitive than any of your competitors.
Yeah, and you're making very healthy margins.
Exactly. So we've seen a lot of that.
That's awesome, dude. I'm convinced. All right, Josh. Josh, we're going to start launching our own wood doors. That's my general manager. I got to let him know. He's going to be like, great. Now we got something else on the books to do. I got all this stuff that I get these ideas at these shows and I'll text them, hey, bro, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. So
lots of ways.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks for coming on the show, dude. I appreciate it.
Thanks
so much wisdom.
We try.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I heard your speaking spot was great. Nathan said it was the best one he had heard all day. So
appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you. Have a good one.
There you have it, guys. Hey, listen, we're up on an hour right now, which that flew by. I got to go to the room and freshen up my makeup, get cleaned up a little bit. And then I've got to we're going bowling. So I'm going to head out. Wish you guys the best. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.